Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and this week I have got lots of stuff planned. It's going to be a pretty busy week. Firstly, I need to make some more progress on Equilinox, obviously, with all the balancing. Then I'm going to be working on the low poly water tutorial. I also want to do a bit of work with designing the website for Equilinox, and I've also got quite a few other things planned this week, which you'll see later in this video. So getting straight back to work on the balancing today, which has been going alright recently. It's been taking a little bit longer than expected, which at the same time was also kind of expected, but it's not too bad. I think I'm still pretty much on schedule for finishing everything this year. This afternoon I've been doing something a little bit different, and I've been working on some draft designs for the website, which I'm hopefully going to be getting up and running next month, if possible, definitely before release. I've been doing a bit of reading about marketing, and one thing that a lot of people suggested was to have a website that I can link people to, which will give them an overview of the game. So I've just been drafting out a few designs for that. Just finishing off the afternoon, and I need to stop and get ready now because a couple of friends are coming over for dinner in a bit, and then we're going off to a Halloween party together. It is 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning. I decided to leave out yesterday because there was just nothing even slightly interesting to show you. In the morning I just worked on more balancing, and in the afternoon I did a bit more work on the website designs, but today will hopefully be a bit more exciting. So first up today, I've been working on balancing the settings for the apple tree. You can see an apple tree in the game here. Also I've just been adding a couple of tasks to do with the apples. So there's this one here, which is a task to have a sheep eat one apple. Obviously a bit of an issue with the apple name being displayed here, but I'll fix that in a bit. And there's also a repeatable task, which is to produce 250 apples. So this basically allows you to farm apples, because every time you produce 250 apples, you'll get the rewards, and because it's a repeatable task, you can keep doing this task over and over again. Just been doing a bit of work on the breeding requirements, the requirements needed to unlock new species, and I've just implemented a new type of requirement, which is a diet requirement. So you can see here, for example, in order to unlock a wild boar, you have to make sure that the sheep have a diet of fruit instead of grass. So I've just been implementing that, getting it to work out what diet the animal has and checking it with the requirements. And now I'm going to stop for some lunch. So this afternoon I'm going to be doing a bit of work on the next tutorial, which is about low poly water, and at the moment I'm still just implementing the low poly water into the code. And today I'm working on FBOs, which are used to create the reflection on the water. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with FBOs, but they require quite a lot of code to set them up, and often I make mistakes when setting up FBOs. So today I was trying to create a nice class which would do all the tricky stuff for me and just make it easier to create FBOs in the future. And I'm pretty happy with how it's gone, so I can give you an example of it here. So as you can see, I'm creating a new FBO here. I just have to put in the dimensions of the FBO, and then I can start adding attachments. So you can see I've created some attachments up here, so I can add a render buffer attachment, and I can choose which color buffer that gets attached to, and I can then also add another color attachment, this time a texture attachment. And then I could also add a depth buffer attachment, and then once I'm done I just init it, and that gives me a working FBO object, which I could then bind and render to it, or I could blit it to the screen or blit it to another FBO. So it just makes working with FBOs a little bit easier. Nothing much going on this evening. I just did a bit more work on the tutorial code, and now I'm just answering a few comments and emails, but I'm going to get to bed in a bit. Thursday morning, and so far today I've just been doing a bit more balancing for a few species. I'm concentrating on the forest species today and just making sure that it's possible to create a nice stable forest biome like the one that you can see here. So just about to stop for lunch now, and nothing particularly exciting to show you this morning. I was just working my way through those forest species and making sure that all their settings are nicely balanced and that they can all live together happily. Back to work on the tutorial this afternoon, trying to get the low poly water code to work. But at the moment I'm a little bit stuck. I've been having a problem with the FBO code, which I was so proud of yesterday. Unfortunately, there's an issue when I'm trying to render to the refraction texture, so you can see that the reflection is working pretty much fine, but you can't see under the water because the refraction texture is completely blank. So at the moment I'm in the process of trying to work out what could possibly be causing that. So as you can see, I have now fixed the issue with the refraction. It was just a problem with the depth texture attachment. It had the wrong format, so it wasn't depth renderable. But I have now got the FBOs working. I've also got some clipping planes clipping and some Fresnel effects Fresneling, and it's all coming along nicely. All I've got left to do now is the lighting for the water. Lastly today, I just wanted to very quickly do a bit more work on the website designs, and they're nearly finished now. I'm going to send them off to the guy that's going to implement them for me tomorrow. But this evening I've got a couple of friends coming over and we're going to attempt to make some pizzas together. Good morning everyone, it is Friday morning and today I've got a pretty busy day ahead, lots to do. Firstly, I need to finalise those website designs and send them off to the web developer. Then I've got a few bugs and glitches that I want to fix in Equilinox. I also want to do some more work on the tutorial code, and then this evening I have to make a cake. It is 10 o'clock, the website designs are finished and sent off, and now I'm going to get started with fixing a few bugs in Equilinox. So the first bug that I fixed was the one to do with the apple's name not being displayed properly in the task, and the reason for this is that the entity component that provides the name is the entity component that allows that entity to be clicked on. Presumably I did that because I thought that if you can't click on an entity, you'll never be able to see its name anyway. Obviously I wasn't thinking about the tasks back then, so because I didn't want you to be able to click on an apple in the world, it just didn't have a name, but I've fixed that now. For the rest of the morning, just been fixing a few more little glitches, mostly to do with environmental factors, especially the liked and disliked species factor, which is where some animals like to have certain species nearby and some animals dislike certain species. So for example, the chicken here doesn't like to have any trees nearby, and there was a bit of an issue with the way that it was searching to check whether there were any of that species nearby. The range was a bit messed up, so I've just been fixing that. Doing a bit of work on the low poly water tutorial this afternoon, trying to get the lighting code to work, and I am actually making some progress despite what it may look like. And the reason that it's taking a while is because I'm trying to do it slightly differently from how I did it in Equilinox. I'm trying to make a few improvements and optimizations, so that's why I haven't just copied and pasted the code from Equilinox. I am actually rewriting it a bit. So this afternoon I've mostly just been doing some more balancing, but I was also just playing around with a suggestion that I got recently, which was to have a few more endgame plants and flowers in Equilinox, which could give certain effects to nearby animals. So for example, there could be a flower which makes nearby animals get hungry a bit slower, or it could boost the health of nearby animals, or things like that. So I've just been trying out a few things. I quickly made a new flower model to test this out with. But for now I need to stop because this evening I'm going off to a friend's birthday party and I've been given the task of making the cake, so I need to do that now. I've never actually made a big cake before, so I'm a little bit worried, but hopefully I won't mess it up completely. It is 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. I'm starting a bit late today because I got back quite late last night. So I'm just having a quick breakfast slash lunch now, and then I'm going to get started with the editing for this week's devlog video. So that is pretty much going to be it for this week. The next video that's going to be out is that low poly water tutorial, and that should hopefully be out in the next few days or so. And then next weekend there will be a devlog video as usual. But for this week, that is it. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.